You guys having a good night? Yes? No one ever asks the opposite question. Are you guys not having a good night? I feel like they should do that. It's just a very one-way, one-sided question. I don't want to know the answer, but I will ask. I'll ask it next time. This is good. I'm having fun. This is wonderful. Learning about Montreal. I feel like I should be teaching you about South Africa. It's only fair. You know? Because that is where I come from. It would be weird if I was teaching about another place. I came from South Africa. Well, not now, but I came from there in life. I did. It's a wonderful place. It's weird to see how, like, people ask you different questions about South Africa. More often than not, people go South Africa, say South Africa, and then they go, oh, South Africa. You're from that's the guy, right? The one who shot his girlfriend, yeah? The dude without the legs, yeah, what is it, Pistorius? What's his name? Pistorius, like Oscar Pistorius. Yeah, Pistorius, wow, that was insane, right? Wow, can you believe that? Could you believe that he did that? And I'm like, yeah, I could. But I mean, it was shocking. I'm like, why is it shocking? Because I mean, like, you don't think he could do that. I'm like, why? You don't need legs to shoot a gun. You don't, like, it's here. A lot of people looked at this and they were like, there's no danger. No, the danger is here. This is how guns work. It's not this. It's here. It was a weird, and then everyone asked me the same question. They go, do you think he did it? What do you think? Do you think he did it? Well, we know he did it. He told us he did it. The question really is do you think he's guilty? You think he's guilty, right? And I'm not one to comment on those things. I don't know what happened. Nobody really knows what happened on that night in particular. You know, all I know is it was a very trying time for South Africa. Oscar Pistorius was our hero. Everyone loved the man. He inspired millions. You know, when we found out the story, Oscar Pistorius said that he shot his girlfriend in the bathroom because he thought there was a criminal, because there was so much crime in South Africa that he was always on edge. And you know, we blamed ourselves. We're like, you know what, he's right, the crime in South Africa. And then Oscar Pistorius went to court and he told the story in detail. And that's when people started to change. Because it's a cool story, but I've always been a sucker for common sense. Let me break it down. This is what Oscar Pistorius said, right? On the night in question, he shot his girlfriend through a bathroom door because he thought there was an intruder in his house. Seems like a plausible story in a world full of crime. But when he broke it down, it just didn't make sense. He says he was in bed on the night in question. Right? He was in bed, and he says he couldn't sleep, even though he says he went to bed early because he was very tired. But now he's up and can't sleep. And so then his girlfriend looked at him and said, what's wrong, baby? Can't you sleep? And he said, no, I can't sleep. Oh, but he says he didn't look at her when he answered because his whole case hinged on the fact that he never knew where she was the entire night. So he says he replied, but he didn't look at her when she asked him the question. So she said, what's wrong? Can't you sleep? And he was like, no, I cannot rest my head. I cannot sleep. Like, clearly watching too much Game of Thrones. That's probably what was happening in his life. And no, because that's the only place I can think of where you'd learn to have conversations without looking at anyone. That's all Game of Thrones is conversations with your back turned to somebody. That's all it is. You will die for what you have done to my son. You will die for what you have done to this family. What you do not understand about me is, I died when I was born. I died when my father shunned me from this family. I died when all of you labeled me the imp. I died the day that, oh, she's gone. Like maybe that was what was going on. So he says he didn't look at her, right? So she said, what's wrong, baby? Can't you sleep? He said, no, I cannot sleep. And then Oscar Pistorius told us he jumped out of the bed. He said he jumped out of the bed to go to the balcony because he wanted to fetch some fans of his that were on the balcony, right? The spinning things, not people, right? Because that would be weird. Because some of you were like, there were fans on the, but now you guys are like, Oscar, like, what are you doing on my balcony? Oh, I want a picture, please, picture with you. Picture. He's like, no, I'm sleeping. But you're not, you're awake. Yeah, no, I can't sleep. Oh, come on, one picture, please. He's like, okay, fine. Jump down. No, please, bring your legs, please, bring the legs. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, come on. No, it wasn't fans like that, it was fans, spinning things. So Oscar Pistorius tells us he went out onto the balcony to fetch some fans of his. And the reason he did this in the middle of the night is because he believed someone was going to come into his house and steal the fans. Because that's what we do in South Africa. That's how we roll. We come into your house, we leave the TVs, the jewelry, and the money. We go straight for the fans. Yeah. because Africa's hot as shit. That's gold. Yeah, and Oscar knew this. He was smart. He was like, I'm going for the fans. And so he went to the balcony to fetch his fans, right? And when he was getting the fans, he then says his girlfriend jumped out of bed and went to the bathroom. But she didn't make a sound because she's a part-time ninja, right? And so she went to the bathroom and he didn't hear a thing. He was busy with the fans. He was busy with the fans. And then when she got into the bathroom, when she went into the toilet, then she made a sound that he says he heard. A sound that he says sounded like men were climbing into the bathroom window and going into the toilet. That's how he described it, which is a very specific description for something you've never heard before. Like that's a very, like if that was me, I'd just be like, ha, I heard something. But he was like, ha, I heard men climbing into the bathroom window and going into the toilet. That's such a strange description for something you've never heard before in your life. Like, and then he even said, the attorney asked him, they said, well, how do you know it sounded like that? He says, because I heard the window opening. It sounded like wood sliding against wood, which is a weird description when you think, because I don't know what wood sliding against wood sounds like. Like who knows what, like, think about it now. What does wood sliding against wood sound like? Think about it. You think, nobody knows what that sounds. There's nobody out there who's like, yeah, that's wood sliding against wood. I know what that sounds like. Yeah, I served at Home Depot for 3 years. I know exactly what that sounds. What do you mean, like wood sliding? Who are you that you know what wood sliding against wood's like? What are you watching, Pinocchio porn movies? Who are you that you know what wood sliding against? It doesn't make sense. There's no one who knows, but this is what he says. He says he thought it was wood sliding against wood, and he heard like what, does he have a ringtone of wood sliding? Is that what he has? I don't, but anyway, so he's there, and he's like, Hawk, who goes there? There's somebody in my bathroom. I wonder who it could be. It's not me because I'm here. It must be somebody else. It's not my girlfriend because I know where she is, because I didn't look at her. It's intruders climbing into the bathroom. I heard that wood sliding against wood. I now need to go get my gun to confront these intruders. My gun that is under the bed, on her side of the bed. But when I go to the bed, I'm not going to look at the bed because I'm an international man of mystery. And that's what he did. So he went to the bed and got his gun. But he says he never looked at the bed when he got the gun. So now he's at the balcony, he hears the sound, and he's like, gets the gun, turns, runs to the bathroom. And then he says, before he went into the bathroom, he looked back and he said, baby, call the police. And she said nothing. And he thought this was normal, and so he went into the bathroom, heard a sound, and then shot through the door. Right? That's his story. Now, I'm not one to call anybody a liar, right? But he's a liar. And the only reason I'll say this is because everything else is preposterous, really very strange, but you know, sometimes fact is stranger than fiction. But the only thing that throws me is when he says he went to the bathroom, he shouted at his girlfriend, told her to do something, and she said nothing? Really? And he thought this was no, like you tell me ladies, which one of you would be lying in bed, your man jumps out of the bed in the middle of the night, half naked, grabs a gun, runs to the bathroom and says, baby, call the police. And you're there like, he's so kinky. Okay, Mr. Gray. Like, what do you mean? Like, and as a man, do you really think that that's normal? You tell your woman to do something in the middle of the night and she says nothing, you wake up and she says nothing? That's not realistic. That's, if you ever lived with a woman, you'll know the truth. You know what's more realistic? You'd run, you'd grab your gun, you go to the bathroom and you'd be like, baby, call the police. And she'd be like, what? Call the police. Why? Because there's intruders in the bathroom. How do you know? Because I heard some men climbing into the bathroom window and going into the toilet. What did it sound like? Were they talking? Were there footsteps? No, it sounded like wood sliding against wood. I told you those porn movies were bad for you. There's nothing to do with the porn. Just call the police now, we're in danger. Call the police now, damn it. Don't you dare talk to me like that. Don't you dare speak to me like, you don't tell me to do anything, damn it. You respect me when you speak to me. What the hell are you talking about? Just call the police. I'm not gonna do anything until you apologize for the way you just spoke to me. Apologize for what? For speaking to me like that? You respect me. My father doesn't speak to me like that, and you don't speak to me like that, damn it. Are we really gonna do this right now? We're gonna do this right now. There's intruders in the bathroom. I don't care who's in the bathroom. I don't care who's in my life, whether it's your friends, your family. You treat me with the respect that I deserve. Shh. They're gonna hear us. That's your problem. You're always worried about what other people hear instead of worrying about what I hear in this relationship. You need to start worrying about me. Baby, calm down, calm down. I'm not gonna calm down. I'm an independent woman and you treat me as such. Would you keep it down? You're gonna get us killed. Well, I would rather die. I would rather die than be in a relationship with a man who doesn't treat me the way I deserve to be treated. I would rather die. Okay. That's more likely to have happened. Thank you very much.
Don't go away.
The British